Aye, shepherd's pie, greeting from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm in the rum bar today with a guy who I've known for a couple of weeks now. And I've got a funny feeling this is going to be a crazy interview. Because although I love this guy, I say it in a nice way, he is crazy. I mean, we're talking a proper nutcase. But great bloke. Had some wonderful nights out of him. He's even saved my arse a couple of times, so I owe him big time. But from the US of A, how many tours of Afghanistan?
If you're counting a tour of 6 months, I would say 2 tours and a half, if there's such a thing as a half a tour.
Okay, so all right. So
15 months, anyways.
So we'll start from the beginning, right? Thanks for doing the interview, George. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from.
I'm coming out of Detroit, Michigan, USA. The place where they used to make cars back in the day.
And the old Cronk gym.
Yeah,
for
the old
boxing
Cronk
fans.
gym, Thomas Hearns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Motor City, beautiful place right on the, the city's a bit shabby these days, but it's right on the Great Lakes. I mean, I'm from a little south of Detroit, so it's right on Lake Erie. Beautiful during the summertime, but I'm happy to be in the Philippines for the winter.
Okay, and big family, or I mean, brothers and sisters?
No, I'm the last of my kind. Mother and father are gone. I got no brothers or sisters.
Oh, only child.
Yeah, only child. I've got some cousins that I'll be missing this year at Christmas, but I've got a lot of good friends back there.
Okay, cool. And you grew up in Detroit, or you moved somewhere else? Or?
No, I've been in the greater metropolitan Detroit area my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And military, was that your first job? Did you go in young, or did you do other stuff before?
No, it's crazy. I went in as an old man, kind of. I mean, I've been doing home improvement, concrete, tile work, carpenter stuff pretty much my whole life. And at the point where they were fighting a war on 2 fronts, Iraq and Afghanistan, they raised the age to get into the military. And I was sitting at a bar with a bunch of contractor buddies, and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go down and join tomorrow. I was 36.
Did they believe you?
They all laughed. They said, dude, you're too old. You're too fat. You're not going to, and I was like, we'll see about that, And so I went down the next day, and bam, off I went. I went through basic training when I was 36.
Well, this is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to this part. But let's just backtrack then. What were you doing? You were working in construction, were you?
Yeah, I was working for myself. I was making all kinds of money. Life was easy. Working 5-hour days on the golf course early. It was life was too easy.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to, I wanted to join the military when I was younger. I was an only child, and there was a family business, and my parents talked me out of it. And I bet by this time they were both passed away. I was like, okay, I got a second chance at this.
So you thought that ship had sailed, but then a couple of beers suddenly, like the old patriotism, come back in there?
Bam, yeah, and there I was.
And you gave up a good life for that. I mean, you were doing well, like
I was, I was making good money. I was living a playboy life. It seemed like it was.
Were you living it now? So I think was why you couldn't believe it.
It seemed like
then.
everything was too easy, though. I mean, I was making all kinds of money. I was having a good time. The next thing you know, I found myself in basic training.
So what did you join? What did you sign up to?
I signed up with the Army.
Yeah.
I went in as an Army engineer,
right.
Basically doing the same kind of work I was doing. I was doing in the civilian world as a carpentry masonry specialist. And it was a good fit. I wouldn't take back my time in the military for anything. I mean, I got there too late, or I would still be in right now.
Okay, so how long did you do?
I would say right around 5 years.
Okay, and what were you were an engineer the whole time, or?
Yeah, I was basically what we did was basically we used to say we build the battlefield.
But so are you a bit like the Royal Engineers in the UK? Is it the same kind of thing?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, like I guess what the Navy would call Seabees.
Right.
We all do our training with the Seabees at the Seabee Academy.
So you put together the floatable bridges and
that kind of thing. I build bridges. Build battlements, build defenses. We would go in and set up a new combat outpost, go in with some infantry guys and fight until the fighting was done, and then basically set up a combat outpost, put the HESCO baskets up and the defenses, and put a power grid, build some structures that were mortar proof, and set them up, and then we move on to the next mountaintop.
So obviously we're going to get to your 2 tours of Afghanistan.
Okay.
But apart from the 2 tours, were you mainly based in America, or did you go around the world? I mean, do you have different places?
No, I was based out of Fort Hood, Texas.
Right.
Yeah, I love my beautiful Fort Hood. I love it there. That was my last stop before I came to the Philippines. I flew down to Fort Hood, visited some of my Army brothers, and stayed down there for a week, and then flew out of Austin to LA and then to the Philippines.
How big is that thing? Because I know you've got some big bases over there. Your base is massive.
As far as I know, it's the biggest base in the free world. I'd say it's about 35
is it
miles.
Really?
35 miles wide by maybe 70 miles long. I mean, I'm guessing, but it's huge. You can get lost out there.
So how many people we talking? Like 100,000?
You know, I don't know what they got over there right now, but I mean, back in the day, I would think there was probably 40,000. Plus families and stuff like that. I mean, and everybody that lives in the area. I mean, it's.
Do you know how many people there are in the British Armed Forces now?
How many?
75,000.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
So you probably had more than that, close to that on one base.
I don't know what's going on with the U.S.'s retention right now. I don't know if, I don't know what the numbers are. But when I was there, everything was in full swing. Yeah. There was, Iraq, Afghanistan was going on, and I mean, it was the most deployable base in the country at the time.
I was in Al-Qarsh for a while, which is just outside Saudi Arabia. I did a tour there for 6 months, and it was an American base. And you had more planes on that base than the RAF has. We had a tornado squadron, 6 planes. Right. But you had more planes, we talked the Americans, on just that one base than we've got in the whole of the Air Force and the Navy combined. So,
right, and
your bases are big.
There's bases all over Texas too. You got Lackland Air Force. I mean, there's probably 5 or 6 big bases, I would think, in Texas. Yeah. Or in the general region.
Well, you've got the biggest military in the world. I mean, probably China's got more in terms of soldiers, but in terms of kit and kites and that, you've got things. So, was Texas different to Michigan? Is it?
Yes, I mean it's way different. I love Texas. They have like a roll up your sleeves, can-do attitude. I mean, I could do without the belt buckles that look like hubcaps and the burnt orange bullhorn shirts. But I mean, it's a great place. It's a great patriotic. But it's really it's one of my favorite places.
So, let's tell us about your first tour in Afghanistan then.
I mean, you know what? So you can count it all as one tour, as one deployment. But I mean, I think if you're putting stripes on your sleeve, you get a stripe for every 6 months, I think. But so, I mean, I was there for 15 months.
All in one go.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were like.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, sometimes they count tours as 6 months, but it was just one long deployment.
Okay.
It took forever.
You must get R&R though. I mean, I don't fly back beyond.
I think at a 15-month deployment, you get an 18-day or a 15-day leave. At some point, you pick your date. I took mine at 6 months. Then I came back and had 9 months straight.
Where did they send you for your R&R?
I mean, I went back home, but I think if you have a passport, they'll pretty much send you anywhere you want to go.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I had a buddy that
they don't have anything, because when I was in the Gulf, we did 6-month tours, and we got a week R&R, but they flew you down to Bahrain. You had a week in the hotel, it was a nice 5-star hotel, all your meals back paid for, because they wouldn't fly back to the UK, but it wasn't like that with you then.
They flew me back. They flew me back to the US, and I was home for a couple weeks, and then you go back, and then it was 9 months. 9 months straight. It was a long 9 months.
That's a long stay.
Right, guys, the nerves start getting frayed towards the end.
Oh, I can imagine. So there's not, because I was thinking it was like the Vietnam War. Maybe they sent you down, because they used to send people down to Pattaya then, didn't they?
Philippines. People, you got wounded, you come to the Philippines. I think in Vietnam. Got a lot of buddies that are Vietnam veterans.
So, what was it like in Afghanistan?
Oh, it was dicey. I mean, I was there 08, 09. I mean, it was. I was attached to the 173rd, some of the best soldiers I ever met. But that was during that we basically built out the Korengal.
They're Rangers, aren't they?
Huh?
Are they Rangers?
They're airborne, little wing out of Vincenza, Italy. Okay. I believe in Vincenza. They were great soldiers though, but we were attached to them for pretty much the first half of our tour, and then I think after that we got attached to for a little bit maybe 101st and then 10th Mountain Division in the end. But definitely, I mean, I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, but the best guys that we worked with were the 173rd. They were tight, good soldiers.
Oh, the camera's falling over. A bit of wind there, fellas. Sorry about that.
A little wind happening.
So, I don't want to... I'm very sensitive, because obviously you get the old PTSD. I'm not saying you have got the PTSD or anything like that, but I mean, I don't want to push you into, answering.
I think everybody's a little bit weird when they come back. I mean, when you leave Western civilization and go off to a country like that for 15 months, I mean, everything's a little bit different.
It's bound to fuck you.
The machine you put your credit card into at the 7-Eleven or the store is different. It's different than when you left. I mean, these small changes that happen on a day-to-day basis while you're at home, you don't notice them. But if you're gone for 15 months, you come back and everything looks a little bit different, And there's and we were very combat oriented. We were out there on the precipice of it all the time.
So you saw a lot of contacts.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of guys that got hit, and we saw a lot of stuff. If we were setting up new combat outposts, we were basically pushing the battlefield out. So we were there. We worked with a lot of heroes. I mean, every job in the military supports the infantry, and I think we directly supported the infantry pretty well.
So did you get injured at all? Did you...
I mean, I dislocated both my knees, bucket tears, meniscus, ACL tears. So I was pretty much done when I came back. I got total knee replacements in both legs now. Fractured a couple vertebrae in my back. A lot of hearing loss. But I never took a profile. I just wrapped my legs up and kept working.
And do they look after you for that kind of thing in there?
They did.
I mean, will they look after you now? Do they?
Of course, yeah. I mean, they've given me disability. I mean, that was the deal they made. If we break you, we'll fix you. And they kept their deal. You know, they kept their deal.
So how did you end up coming out then? I mean, you sound like you really enjoyed it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, the military. I mean, you have bad days. And when you have a bad day in a war, it's a bad day. But I mean, it's something you'll never forget. I mean, I guess you'd have to be a part of it to understand it. But I mean, when I got back, it was pretty much. It wasn't like they didn't kick me out for injuries, but they told me I was basically going to have to do something else. They're going to have to change my job. And I just said, I'll just take my ball and go home then. And then so I went back and got my knees replaced and, and all that.
But you enjoyed the tour overall. I mean, you were glad you did it.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an experience, something to put on your resume, I guess. Yeah, I don't know anybody that I went with that would take back going, but yeah, there's definitely some.
But how do you feel about it now? What I'm getting at is, a lot of people in the UK, people I know that were in Afghanistan, they kind of say now, well, what was the fucking point?
Yeah, after that crazy retreat out of Afghanistan, leaving the gear behind. Yeah, it was a bit disgraceful, but I mean, I guess yeah, I sure wish it would have ended different, but I guess it doesn't take back all the great work that we did while we were there.
No, I'm not saying it does. I mean, what you did was, I'm sure it was amazing. I'm just saying it's like, I know a lot of people who feel the same way, but,
Almost every war in recent years. I mean, we came out of Vietnam the same way with people hanging off of helicopters, we basically walked away from all of our allies. I mean, I don't know why anybody trusts us anymore, but... I mean, Iraq. I mean, same thing. I mean, these are.
There's definitely a pattern over the last few years.
There definitely has been. I mean, World War II was the only decisive victory. My dad fought in that war.
Well, we've had a few, but we tend to take on little people like Argentina and things like that. We try to avoid the things. But okay. Well, that's So what did you do when you came out of the military? So you've been medically discharged. Mm-hmm. You've done your 5-6 years, whatever it is.
Well, it took me a while to get my disability worked out. So I was unable to get on my knees, unable to do the work I did before. So I just had to kind of humble myself and work where I could, wash some windows, maybe wash some buckets out for guys who I taught how to tile back in the day. But I got squared away on that stuff, and then I didn't do much for about a decade. For about a decade, I think I just stayed in and scratched my head and thought about it. And then I was ready to come back out, and I started doing research on places I might want to go visit, and I guess the Philippines came up on my list.
Right, so we're now in the future. So how long have you been in the Philippines?
Been here for 3 months.
And where have you been?
I spent a month in Sabu, which is like any other big city. It was great. It was cool. I mean, I figured I would dip my toes into Philippines culture by in a town that's got a lot of Western conveniences. I figured I would ease my way in, but it's a big city. It's nice. I met a lot of good people there. Did a lot of drinking, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, before we go on, I should ask you this, George, because I think it would be fair to describe you, and I don't mean to offend you. You are a wild man. I mean, I have seen a wild side of you. I mean,
I have my moments.
You're okay now. I mean, the last couple of days you can't. I won't talk about what happened at the weekend.
Right.
But when you're in the military, because I was military police.
Right.
You must have been nicked a few times, surely. I mean, I can't imagine you.
I left the military with the Good Conduct Medal, which means I never got an Article 50 and I never had extra duty. I mean, but to be honest, I have
images of you brawling a lot and getting pissed, mate.
To be honest, though, I had really good NCOs. There's a lot of stuff I probably could have got on where I was maybe shielded from because I was a good soldier, I was dependable. But I didn't. There was nothing on my record. I mean, I often say, like, aside from like the Purple Heart or something like that, the Good Conduct Medal is a hard one to get. That means you did your whole contract without it being in any trouble at all.
And one thing I remember you mentioned the other day when we were talking, I think it might have been my birthday party, you used to wrestle.
A little bit in high school. A
little
bit in high school, yeah.
What level did you get to?
I mean, I don't want to say I was a good wrestler. I think I probably was batting maybe 500. I mean, I was a hockey player, right. and there was I got kicked off the hockey team for, I guess I was a bit of a goon, and I ended up going over to the wrestling team. I need to have something to do. I wanted to maintain my varsity.
So hockey was your first love, then you got into the wrestling.
Right. I come from a hockey family. Detroit's a hockey town, but I enjoyed wrestling. I mean, it was like free. It's a free martial art.
How old are you?
I'm 55.
So you were probably, well, you're too old for the old MMA, because that come in when we reached our thing. Because I reckon if a few years earlier you'd been in the old MMA, mate, I reckon that would have been more thing.
Those guys are a different breed. I got some army buddies though that are judo black belts and that spend all their time rolling, and they're probably that caliber.
Well, I think we were lucky because I was really into martial arts when I was growing up, but it was for MMA because I'm 52. So like I did the karate and fell for the Wing Chun, and then the MMA came along, and you realise it's all bullshit and you should be doing that. But I was in my 30s, you know what I mean? You can't. You're too old now.
No, I come. In my town, we're just a bunch of bar brawlers, bar bouncers, throwing frat boy haymakers and stuff like that. A lot of tough guys coming out of the town I came out of.
But you did a bit of bouncing as well, didn't you? You were telling me
I did a lot of bouncing, but those back in the days where it was all Queensberry rules. Guys would fight, and then a guy would fall down, you'd help him back up, and you'd go in and drink. Nowadays, there's no style. They got no class nowadays. It used to be bar fighting used to be a sport for all of us.
George is he's not been able to leave his bouncing days behind because when you go to the bars in Siquijor, there's not much trouble, but there's not much in the way. There's not much in the way of security. And George, I've seen George ask a few people to leave. He kind of takes it in his hands. Which is fair enough. It lightens the mood. It's good to watch.
And there's no reason for it here. There's no reason not to be happy. That's one of the greatest things about this island of Siquijor, is that the locals here are so friendly, so inviting, and people come here on vacation. It's just such a happy place. You see bars with, JJ's the other night. There had to be 300, 400 people down there from all different countries, right? And there's no security. And
no, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. It's very self-managing.
Yes, it's very nice. It's very nice. Disarming.
So we'll go back to the Philippines now. You've been to Sabu City.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
I was there for a month.
And then where did you go?
I went over to Oslo for about a week. Did the whale sharks, dove with the whale sharks. Something I always wanted to do.
Is that good? I'm thinking of doing that. Do you enjoy that?
I got great pictures, and it was, I guess as a kid, I had a picture, a National Geographic book that you opened up, and the centerfold was a whale shark. And I've always wanted to see one in person. So it was thrilling. It was nice.
And do you see them? It's not one of these places, because a lot of places, like in Egypt, you could do the old whale, because I used to do a lot of scuba diving over there. But there was no guarantee they'd turn up. A lot of people would be disappointed.
They chum the water over there. They might even have a, I don't know.
They're always there. And if you do a trip, you're guaranteed to see them.
And you can go to Bohol as well, and they chum the water. They're there all day, and then they go about their business at 4 or 5 o'clock at night. But yeah, it's worth it. To be in the water with an animal that's that majestic. It was thrilling. It was thrilling.
Oh, I have done it in Egypt. It's amazing because they're so powerful.
I went to Bohol after that. I did all the tourist stuff. Went and saw with the tarsings, the little primates in the little reserve over there. I did the chocolate hills. I did some really good wall dives, some scuba dives over there. I was there for about 10 days. It's a nice place, Panglao and Alona Beach.
So you did quite a bit of travelling before you got it in the places you've been to.
and then Siquijor, I came from Bohol to Siquijor.
Right, now we're going to start talking about Siquijor.
Okay.
Because just one more question, because I'm thinking about going to Oslo. Is any nightlife there? Is it just the whale sharks, or is there nothing else?
It's very rural.
Right.
It's very rural, and there's nice restaurants that are perched. There's like kind of a cliff face. It's beautiful. It's beautiful jungle, and there's some resorts. There's some nice resorts along the way there. The waters. There's good snorkeling right off your hotels. But I didn't see much nightlife over there.
It's only like literally it's 20 minutes from the ferry for me. And
from Dumaguete.
From where I'm in Sibilan.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally 150 minutes away from the ferry port.
Right.
And I think it's only 20 minutes when you get the other end of Oslo. So I could be there in an hour. I'll do it. I'll do it when I go back.
It's worth it. It's worth it. And like I said, maybe there's some nightlife. I'm sure you'll find it if there is.
I'm not that kind of guy, mate.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like a cocoa bed early kind of chap.
Okay.
Right. So you've basically been to Bohol. You've been around Sabu. You've gone like the city. And now you come to Siquijor.
Yes.
What was the first thing that impressed you about Siquijor?
The first night I got here, I made Filipino friends. Right away, right off the bat, I made friends that I still hang out with on a daily basis. I ended up back up in the mountains, sleeping in this shanty up in the mountain. I didn't even go to my room the first night. I ended up going to this little mountain compound. It's beautiful, that was the first night I got invited out, and I've been to just barbecues and birthday parties, and that's the thing about this place is that it's really the first place that I've been to since I got here where I immediately felt at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I immediately felt like, you know what, I could stay here. I'm happy here. I mean, this stretch of road in San Juan that we stay on, for probably 2 kilometers, I walk into every single place. And I know everybody by name. I mean, this place has that effect. It's just, it's magical.
I mean, I say it in all the videos. I've travelled a lot. I mean, you know, I used to live in Thailand. I have never, ever, ever in my life been somewhere where the people are so damn friendly. They are the nicest people in the world in Siquijor.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're nice in the Philippines, but this place is special.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten along fine with people everywhere I've been. Oslo, Bohol, I've met all kinds of great. But like I said, this place was really. It felt like home immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, after the first night, I knew 20 people. You know,
Yeah,
it's just gone on and on. People are just so ready to help you out. Ready to. I mean, everyone smiles. Everyone says hello. I mean, the Christmas celebration here that starts in the Philippines, right? If the month ends with a burr, they start celebrating Christmas in September, and it just gets bigger and bigger the closer you get. You know, I mean, it's been great here.
It is an amazing place. It is an amazing place. I can't get over how. I mean, it's a beautiful place as well, but that's a plus. Yeah, you know, I was talking to Paul in an interview the other day, and I say, "Well, it's easy to get to." And I'm, you're missing the point, mate. It's the people.
Yeah,
it's the people.
It is. So, I mean, what? So if you take the fast boat from Sabu, you probably get here in 5 hours. You stop in Bohol, and then from Bohol, so it's 2 hours to get to Bohol, maybe a little bit longer, and 2 hours to get here. Yeah, so it's a quick jaunt to get here, but it's also. I mean, I enjoy the ferry. Sometimes I take the long way. I still haven't gotten bored of that yet.
Yeah, well, I might go to. I'm talking about going over and doing a few videos with Burner in Bohol, but we ain't really set a date for it. But we might do that because it's not too far away from it.
Be sure to stop at Birdwatchers.
Birdwatchers is that?
It's right in Panglau on the beach. It's owned by a guy named Glenn.
Okay.
And it's an Australian bar, but they got a kid named Frankie who knows 1,000 songs from the time. He's like a musical genius. Yeah. Anything from Metallica to Kenny Rogers, you ask for it and he'll play it right away. He's got a great voice. It's a fun place. Fantastic. So what are your plans now, mate? I mean, how long have you actually been here now then? Because you've been here, because you were going to leave, weren't you? But then you cancelled and extended for another month. So my plan was, as I'm trying to see as much of the Philippines as I can, my plan was to stay for a month, try to stay for a month in each place. And I just couldn't break away from Siquijor. So I rented my place for another month. And then from here, I want to go to Palawan. I want to go check out Iloilo. But no matter what, I'm going to come back to Siquijor after that. This is where I'm, so far, I mean, this is the place where I want to stay.
You can, I was inviting George. I've been inviting him for the last couple of weeks to come to my birthday, and he kept saying, no, I can't, I'm leaving the next day, I'm going. And I said, I don't think you're going to go. He said, no, I'm going. When I got to the venue, start setting things, the first voice I said, hey, Simon, how you doing? He was the first one there. He'd extended for the month.
That was a fun party, too.
Oh, well, yeah, I can't remember a lot of it.
Right, we were karaokeing. There was a lot of food. There was a lot of booze. Red Horse.
Yeah, well, thanks for the Red Horse. He's a very generous mate, this guy. I had a free cocktail bar. First thing George says is only beer. I said, I might get some. Walks off. Comes back with a case of Red Horse. I've got to thank you again for that, mate. Because the old Filipinos love that.
Good party, great location.
No, it was a good one. Anyway, so how long you got left now then? So that means you must have about 3 weeks left then, because that was a week ago, yeah. And then where you going to go? Did you say?
I think I'm going to head over to Dumaguete. I'm looking to catching a flight to Iloilo.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll stay there. I get off the beach, do some of these flea bites. I get some bites on the sand here, but I'll maybe stay in the city for a little while. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then I think from there I can catch I was looking, there's a cruise ship that you can catch from Iloilo to Palawan. Right. It's a 40-hour cruise, but they got the king suites with the TV in the bedroom. It's like they're nice kind of modern cruise ships. I think I'd rather do that than fly. Spend a couple days at sea, something like you're saying. Sometimes getting there is half the fun.
Yeah, no, it can be. If you've got to make it a fun, haven't you?
Yeah,
you've got to not make it a chore. And I don't know if I've asked this already. This is your first time in the Philippines?
It is.
You ever been to Thailand?
I have not.
You've got to try it, mate. Philippines is great, but you've got to try Thailand.
It's funny, originally when I was starting to look for places to go, I was looking at Thailand. And while I was looking at the YouTube pages about Thailand, the Filipina P, who, she's a YouTuber from here, she came up and I started watching her channel. And there's so much information that I decided, okay, maybe the Philippines is a better fit for me. Plus it's so close. It's close to Thailand, it's close to Vietnam, so I mean... it's all right here.
Oh, it's only a 2-hour flight, Phil. It's 2.5 hours flight from Bangkok.
It's all right here.
So you're going to come back here at the end, we're glad to hear that because we'll be missing you while you're away.
Right.
Then what happens?
I think I'm gonna stay here until summertime rolls around. Then I'd like to go home for a few months. Go back to Great Lakes, Michigan. It's beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do, camping, and so I visit my friends for a few months back home. And then I think as the season starts to wane, I'll be heading back for the Philippines again, and I'll come right back to Siquijor, and I'll look for a more permanent residence here.
So do you think you're gonna stay here full time then?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, you know what? Why not?
You've made me very happy, George. I didn't know you were thinking that.
No worries. No worries
here.
I'm very relaxed. You know, I don't watch the news anymore. I'll just let the chips fall where they may.
I think you're gonna have to do what I do, though. You're gonna have to calm down, George. You can't keep going at this pace. You're gonna have to get out of holiday mode.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm very calm. I'm very calm all the time.
No, well, I mean, I think I'm getting to the stage. Probably in about 2 months, I'll move here permanently as well.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
at the moment, I have to do a month. It kills me staying here more than a month.
You're too short to point your finger. I've seen you in action a bunch of times too, buddy.
No, but that's what I'm saying to you. You're going to have to calm down because neither of us can keep going at the pace we're going.
We're getting a bit long in the tooth.
We've got to calm it down, otherwise it will be a really graveyard.
I hear you.
Well, I've really enjoyed this interview, mate.
Yeah,
good. Thanks so much for doing it. Anything else you want to tell us that I've missed? I mean,
I don't think so. I think Yeah. I think we're good.
Well, we'll end up here. We'll have a nice beer. It's Christmas party tonight here, by the way.
You know what? And I live close enough to hit the place with a pitching wedge.
No, but I'm saying it is good tonight. Lee is bringing some food over. It's going to be a good night. Everyone's been telling me this is the place.
This is where I'll be. This is where I'm always at anyways. This is right next door to where I live.
Exactly. Right, well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button. Subscribe. You'll make me very happy. You'll make Berna very happy as well, which is, I'm sure you'd rather make her happy than me. Thanks for watching, and whatever you're doing, be lucky. I'm going to go have a beer with George.